Good morning, friends. It's been a while. I have been in over my head with projects and just also stress about the general state of the world. Today, I thought we could just have a chill day and garden together and do a lot of other fun stuff. So if that sounds like something that you'd like, grab some snack, a meal, a drink. I don't know what time it is where you are. For me, it's morning. I currently have chocolate chip banana bread that I made, and get cozy. Also, sorry if it's noisy. I just started a round of wash, so it might be a little bit sploshy. So I've been having a lot of tea recently, most of them with foamed soy milk. I'm not gonna show you guys because it's gonna spill out and that won't be fun to clean up. But for those of you wondering where I've been, I thankfully have not been doing mentally super bad. I mean, nobody's gonna be doing great right now, all things considered. But most of it is because I've had a lot of projects, and I know the moment I take my phone out to film said project and then edit, it takes double the amount of time. And spring is the time when a lot of things happen, especially for me and where I live. So I really didn't want to basically have that sabotaged. I was like, you know what? If I can only do the thing instead of film it, I'm going to do that. As well as with all of the AI stuff, I've just been really weirded out about being online right now. It's just been a delicate balance trying to manage my physical, emotional, energy, all of that. There's so many things that have gone on that I want to talk about, but I'm just so exhausted to even try to come up with anything that, hasn't been said, sounds like an echo chamber, and it's just, everything's getting to me a little bit, but I will let you guys know I'm fine mentally and mostly physically. I mean, physically it is exactly how it usually is. It's like spinning a wheel to see if I'm going to be debilitated or not, but don't worry about me. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I have been doing quite a bit of projects that I probably will never film. And I have some that I have been waiting to start specifically because I want to share them with you guys, which has been driving me nuts because filming is very hard right now. And I really do want to share the process because some of these things are very cool and fun. I have been starting a garden. I mean, you guys have seen it before. My garden before has been very rudimentary. And starting a garden and orchard has kind of been like a dream for me and one of the main reasons why I wanted a house, like if not the main reason for God, ever. Also, I'm finally recovered from, I think, the 4th or 5th sickness I've gotten this year. Every single time I've been to a protest, I get sick for like 2 weeks, which makes me really nervous about this weekend's one because they've just kept getting worse each time. Not the protests, the sickness. And I don't know if I can handle being in spaces with crowded people screaming and not get completely immobilized for weeks. I don't know if I'm going to go to this one. I feel really bad about that, but at the same time, every time I get sick, it just seems to keep getting worse. And I've been dealing a lot with, especially being disabled and nobody really being able to tell. I'm like, am I disabled enough to skip out? I don't know. Sometimes I feel very chronically online. I've worn masks for most of the times I've been. I usually try to keep away from people there, but when it's going to be 40,000 people, I am very frightened of getting sick again. Because every time I do, my whole life falls apart. And it just takes so much to get back to where I was before. Anyway, how you guys holding up? Because I feel so bad for not coming on and talking and making videos, but I know most people watching, the average person is not benefiting from anything happening. And if somehow a billionaire is watching this, I wish you a very not billionaire anymore, but I doubt anyone like that is watching. But it's just like, I feel like I just wake up to a new hell every day, and it's really odd because where I live, the birds are singing and it's beautiful, but like so many bad things are going on, like just beyond, you know, it's really disorienting. And I also keep getting sick trying to throw everything I have at all of these problems. And I'm trying to learn balance. So while dealing with the voices online that say, you know, oh, my laundry. Also dealing with the voices online saying that people can't afford to or don't deserve to find that balance, or people saying that people's idea of balance is way skewed off and everyone needs to be doing a lot more. I agree and disagree at the same time. This video is just gonna be like the most chill crash out you've ever seen. It's just hard. So I've seen that everyone around me is coping in various ways, some good, some not. My personal ways have been crafting like usual and improving my garden. Has been a goal for years, and recently a few trees fell unexpectedly. So we had to get some tree people out to fix it. They did quite a bit of damage to our drainage pipes at the bottom of our house. But the good news is all of the things that they have trampled actually made quite a bit of room for us, which has been great because I finally don't have the trees blocking and creating shade and doing poison ivy, which I have been super afraid of and made it really hard to garden. Also, surprisingly, the antique store has picked up just enough to where I don't owe them money anymore every month, which has been really nice. And for the first time in my life, I'm actually not failing at a business I've started, which is pretty cool. It's really cool, actually, because I've had, I think, like 10 failed businesses now, which I know is a privilege in itself to be able to fail so many times and still have people to rely on, but I'm really happy about it. And it really allows me to do some of the things that I like to do best, which is keep things out of landfill, repair things. I've learned how to restore vintages. I've learned how to redo leather. I have learned how to repaint the little dolls, like the porcelain dolls and stuff. It's been really fun. And I've also learned the history of all the objects, which, you know, and that actually makes me think, this is just going to be a really disorganized video. But I'm thinking about the rage rooms, and I hate when I see those ads for the rage rooms online. It's basically a place where you go to break stuff. And I think being in there would make me angrier. Like, I would go in angry and come out angrier because I would just be watching people break all of these beautiful antiques, which I know that value doesn't really mean anything to anyone, and value is a made-up concept, but I saw videos of things that I know people I personally know have wanted for years get completely smashed. And of course the comments were as angry as you thought they would be. Like, and is it really important to get angry over something so trivial? No. Does it still bug me? A little, because a lot of the things in there cannot be recycled. So once they're broken, they're garbage. And I know that garbage is going to happen anyway. That's a whole nother topic. This video should probably just be called Athena talking for like 42 minutes straight. But anyway, little scraps of money that I have gotten after all of my payments and everything and running the business, which has taken about 95% of the budget. After all of that, I've had enough to get some raised beds, and I'm doing a combo of building my own out of sticks outside by like sharpening them and pounding them into the ground and weaving vines and stuff. But that's going to take forever. And the whole growing season is going to be gone by then. So I went to Facebook Marketplace, which, you know, you can find anything on there, which is why I go there. Not really a huge fan of Facebook, but Nobody's using any of the other apps as much. And I started looking for raised beds. And I wanted the 3-foot ones, but when you go online, they're like $200. And even if I had $200 for multiple beds, I wouldn't spend it on that because that just feels like a lot of money to spend on something right now or ever. And I prefer getting stuff used. So I scoured the internet for about 3 or 4 weeks. Basically since before my last video, which was like a month ago now. And I looked, and all of a sudden they start popping up. And they're still a little bit much. Dude, come on, get out of here. They're still a little bit too much for my comfortability, but I'm like, you know what? This is still a lot less. And they came in at around, I got 2 for $60. So yeah, it actually was pretty good. That's just, you know, I got like $4 right now. But basically, I was able to find 2 at like one of those hardware farm stores for their normal sale price, which was, I think, $70 per. And I wasn't thrilled with that, but that's okay because, again, I would like to... What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey. What are you doing? Can you be normal for like 5 seconds? I know that's hard for you, but try. Yeah. Come on. Thank you. He is just looking at that banana bread so intently. Hey, sweetie. But what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I got 5 raised beds for about the price of one of the expensive raised beds, which was better, much better. I am now out of money for dirt. Because dirt, I know they say dirt cheap. That's not true. Good quality soil costs a lot, and I have some compost going, but not nearly enough to fill 5 raised beds. So we're going to figure that out probably with my next check. Hopefully. That's like in like 2 weeks though. So maybe I will find, I live in a country area, so sometimes people have like free dirt, free compost. And I'll probably take them up on that. You just have to bring a truck and load it up. He's comfy. He's cozy. You're cozy. But basically, we're going to put those together today. And I put together 2 last night. It was beautiful. It was, I love springtime. I hate the winter so much. I love winter time, but after December, it's that gross period of like January and early February, disgusting. Saved up all of my birthday and Christmas money that people have given me for about 2 years, and I put it towards getting some fruit trees because I already had one that I planted years ago, which was a plum tree. I planted it like 1 or 2 years ago. It's looking very good. It's stable in the ground, but I wanted more trees. So I found some in South Carolina, and I ended up getting a bunch of plants. I got honeyberries, which I'm very excited for, but I got 2 of those and they're already in the ground. And yeah, so far my garden is like 90% berry. I'm also going to use a ground cover and have it be alpine strawberries. So yeah, I'm not running out of berries anytime soon. I'm so worried about wasps though. Like I know they're going to show up because they love berries. So I'm a little bit worried once it gets a little warmer with the garden, especially since I'm doing things organically. Now that I've had a wonderful breakfast, I was gonna go out in the garden, but I actually cleaned this off yesterday. This was one of the pieces that I got from that house that I cleaned out a long time ago, and yes, I'm still doing projects from that. I brought so many beautiful things to work on, and this was one of them. So I'm actually gonna put this underneath a light switch just as like decoration. And you might be asking yourself, why are you just making decorations while the world is burning? And honestly, I could be doing a lot worse things about it. So I'll be fine. But recently, a very kind lady gave me a box of paints because I was asking for some recycled materials for an upcoming video, and she was like, hey, I also have paint. Do you paint? And I'm like, do I paint? Of course I do. Hey, come on. Lovely. But I was like, of course I paint. And she's like, great. I started painting and I don't want to do it anymore. So she gave me this box of paints, and now I'm going to paint this because it looks a little bit too like 90s, early 2000s Tuscan kitchen for me, and I'm not really the biggest fan of that vibe. And if you're around my age, what type of kitchen did you guys have growing up? Because I know there was the Rooster kitchens, and I know that there was the Pepper kitchens, the Tuscan kitchens. I feel like mine was none of those. We had a countertop that was made out of mismatched tiles. I think the kitchen was orange, and then we later painted it to mint green. I think it was just whatever my parents put together. I liked it. It was beautiful to me. But I don't really think it's very bright and colorful. I'll probably put gold on it. I put gold on everything. And for those of you wondering, I don't know if I already said I got my Murano chandeliers, but I got my Murano chandeliers. I don't know how to put them up because the wiring is really weird in this house, like everything else. Oh, the wall is leaking water now. We fixed one problem and another one pops. Like literally a few weeks ago, everything started popping up even more. Like we thought we had problems. And I know that's why people say, oh, don't wish for a house because then you'll have homeowner problems. No. Even though this house has had so many problems, I don't care. I still would rather have this than renting. I do not like renting. I don't like that you can't do whatever you want. Sharing walls with people has been a nightmare, especially being autistic. And also, even if you remember to turn the oven off, you don't know if your neighbor has remembered to turn the oven off. And yeah, renting was a nightmare for me. I hope that anyone who enjoys it, like, great for you. I don't know where you live, but where I've lived, it's been a nightmare and a half. And I am so lucky and thankful every single day. Even on my worst days, I'm like, wow, I'm having a really bad day in a house. It's kind of like that SpongeBob episode where it's like at night. Like it makes everything so much better. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that literally because not living in an apartment anymore changed my life for the better in every single way you could imagine. Like, it has just made my life so much better. But we're going to go in with this purple. And I'm using a hummus lid for this. But I'm just going to start putting colors on. Oh, that is a nice color. Just going to lay some base colors and then start working over them. And these are called heavy body acrylics, which I usually use those little like apple barrel type ones, the 50-cent ones, but honestly, like, these have been great. And let's do some red. I would think the red would be a little bit more bright. Like it might turn into like a fuchsia, but it's not. Which, I don't know what I expect. I have 3 of the same red though. It looked like she got a lot of the same color. Let's see. I think I'm gonna mix in some of these paints. Does this even have anything in it? Oh, it's empty and dried out. Love that. Yeah, this year, like ever since I moved into the house, I've actually been going through my paint, which is great because that means I'm actually making things again. I'm not gonna get any more paint out. I wanted it to be rainbow, but the purple's winning. The room that I'm putting it in is pink. Haven't even finished painting the wall for that yet. Does that not look cool? To me, that looks really beautiful. Mixing some more paint. Like, it almost reminds me of, like, The Little Mermaid or something. I don't know. It's very, like, yeah. Definitely, I think this is an improvement. Yeah, this lady, when I cleaned our house, she had so many flourishes. Honestly, some of the favorite things that I even have at this point are from her house. Like, and it was a very exhausting job because it was an actual hoarder house. Like, when we first got in there, you could not even step in that. Like, there was no room to walk at all. Like, it was floor to ceiling. But she was organized because everything was in boxes. The boxes were labeled wrong, but everything was in boxes. And if it wasn't something that was valuable to the antiques appraiser, which he ended up being a total asshole, not just to me, just in general. But he wasn't part of the family, so it's not the family's fault. They had no idea who he was. He just kind of showed up. But some of my very favorite things have been from there, and it's given me like at least 6 months worth of projects now. I'm redoing a whole bathroom with embellishments that I got at that house. I've been painting them. I've been, you know, kind of just doing. And I think that all the decorating and making things has really kept me somewhat sane over the past year. And I think that's very important. Because it's been very hard to stay sane. Most of the things that I'm renovating my house, I got for free or thrifted very cheap. I'm currently looking at fixing one of the lights in here because when I moved in here, none of the lights matched. One looked like a batting cage, and that's the one I hated the most. So I finally, after 3 months, went to the bins yesterday, and I found this light thing. It's like a globe, and it's iridescent. Problem is, it doesn't fit on my light switch, on my ceiling light thing, on my pendant light. So I'm going to have to drill a hole into glass, and I'm extremely nervous about it. Extremely nervous. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It needs some more cornflower color, but it is so getting there. It needs more of that purple though. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of projects. I definitely want to make something with, I've been making a lot of stuff out of recycled materials too. And I'm currently trying to get like soda pop lids, like those metal ones. Like those little, like the caps to the soda. And I have not found that many. I found 2 at the bins yesterday, and it's weird to buy literally like a soda cap, but you know, I need it and they had it, so I'm not gonna be picky about where I get it from. I've been DIYing a bunch of clothes, and the time has almost come for the video I've been anticipating making for 2 years. So, as you all know, I've been boycotting Target for about over a year now. And this doesn't really matter that I'm boycotting because they got rid of them a long time ago. But my autistic brain picked a very specific type of underwear to wear. An underwear Target no longer sells. I also am allergic to elastic because it has latex in it. So, they don't have it. And whenever I search up underwear on eBay that doesn't exist anymore, don't do that. You're not going to get great results. And I definitely didn't want to buy used underwear for the reasons people sell it online. I was just looking for maybe some dead stock underwear or something. And I've done that twice before, but they're starting to disappear because it's been about 4 or 5 years since the underwear were around. They kind of faded into oblivion. So I've been staring down the shotgun of having to make my own. And I'm better at sewing. I've even gotten like that stretchy lace and a bunch of cotton, a bunch of really soft cotton to work with. But it's very nerve-wracking because now it's not a want to, it's getting to a have to. Because it's either this or scouring eBay and getting scalped for dead stock that people have been keeping. And I've made a bunch of prototypes over the past 2 years in anticipation, and hopefully I can make ones that actually fit well. But that's going to be a whole video, and hopefully I can show you guys how to make your own underwear from a pair that you already own. But yeah, the sensory nightmare that trying to find a new brand or pair would be, especially without elastic, and especially, I'm also trying to make one without the stretchy lace. Because the stretchy lace, even though it's not elastic, it's something else. I think it's like nylon. I would love to make plastic-free underwear completely, no polyester, no nylon, no nothing. Just cotton, but I know that they won't have the same like hold. So I've been working on some prototypes, and I would say they're semi-successful. They have a lot of room for improvement, but I've been a little bit of an underwear scientist in secret for like the past 2 years. So I'm getting to the point where I will need to make them, so we can go on that journey together. And it won't be weird, I promise. Maybe it will, I don't know. But it won't be the type of weird that is weird in the bad way. But I also think it's important. I feel like making clothes that are comfortable and having clothes that are comfortable is important. I also made a dress last year in a sewing class, which I'd love to get back to that, but it's so hard for me to get all the way over in like 3 counties over, because gas is like $4 a gallon here at the time of filming. I know someone's gonna be like, actually it's not, because I'm sure it's gonna go down eventually, but right now it's $4 a gallon, and I try not to leave my house as often as possible because of that. And I do a lot of things, and it may seem like I have an unlimited budget, but the truth is I do a lot of things for free, or I'm very resourceful. Like the raised beds could have been thousands, but since I got them used and got great deals on them, it was, with the new ones included, it was $220 for all of them, and they're the metal ones, which is really nice. Which, that's great. I love that I got the metal ones. And I'm also gonna make some, but this gives me a good start because I'm gonna start seeds. And if you guys wanna watch the garden grow, I will show you, because I'm more than happy to show you the garden growing. Yeah, I'm just chatting away because I know I'm gonna edit like most of this out. Oh yeah, so I don't have it with me because I returned it, but I recently read a book that it goes in my top 5 immediately of all time. I'm a huge nonfiction reader. I love reading books that are informational, especially in any sort of cross-cultural context and any sort of like anthropological, I think that's the right word for that. But anything that deals with like global culture, I immediately am reading. I love learning about cultures, and this book was called Recycled, Reseen. I cannot recommend it enough. I would hope your library has it, and unfortunately I asked the librarians for more books like it, and they said that there were none in the state that had the same vibe. I have been looking for it everywhere. So the concept is basically folk recycling, which folk recycling is like, you know, folk art and folk crafts, and living in Appalachia, that's huge here. And it's also something that I'm very deeply passionate about, of making beautiful things and functional things out of recycled materials, out of essentially trash. It's very fun because you learned not only about, you know, oppressed groups of people, and, you know, not only that, but also just the working classes of the world making things out of trash. And some were doing it for environmental reasons, but most were doing it just because that's what they had available. But just seeing the beautiful things people made really felt inspiring, because I have always loved making stuff out of trash. I used to do something called Trash-In, and it seems to only be available to like teenagers, those Trash-In shows, which I wish they had some for adults. I should start one. But I used to make so many outfits out of trash. And now I just make it out of fabric that's gonna be trashed. So I guess still, but not like actual like recycle material type trash, like trash bags and stuff. But since that's always been something that's a core to who I am as a person, having a book that celebrates every culture's version of making stuff out of literal garbage was like, and also exploring like the spiritual themes, the like societal theme, like it's the perfect book. If you are a trash raccoon like me, you will love it. The book is bars. Like they talk about stuff, and they talk about, you know, colonialism, derogatory of course, but like how that has impacted people, and, you know, especially the global south that they are supposed to, and I say supposed to as in it's been imposed on them, not that I think they should, but the global south deals with a lot of our trash. I know that the landfill in my area is full, so I know that any trash I throw away, unfortunately, is going to other countries, which sucks. And thankfully, I don't have too much trash every week. Most of the trash that I generate, since I compost and recycle almost everything, is either the odd bit of plastic that I cannot recycle or cat litter. And I don't know how to deal with the whole cat litter thing, because I'm not having outdoor cats. I'm not doing it. So that will continue being trash for me, unfortunately. Like, that's going to just have to be necessary. I know the things where it's like, I'm just a book, and it's like, you saved me. It didn't save me, but I was having so much fun reading that for like, I read it like 6 times while I had it checked out. And I've been getting a lot of books. Most of the books of my interest are actually, I've read through them already this year at the library. So I'm going to need to go to other libraries. I've asked them to get stuff from like across the state for me. I did not read this much even last year, but I read a lot when I was little, and then stopped reading that much. I mean, I was still reading like other things, like cookbooks and stuff, which, you know, you have to when you cook stuff. Please don't ruin the shirt. Oh, there we go. Let's try this color mixing. Let's see if it looks good. Yeah, so I'm just putting stuff together. Ooh, that looks nice. If it will show up. See that bright purple at the bottom? That's this. I need to put something down. Okay, so we have a cracker box. And how do I pick this up without... Ooh, no. I forgot I had dark on this brush. So we're going in with that color. And now I don't have to worry. I can just actually get all the spaces. And I feel like that's extremely bright. But she had so many of these types of things. I have made them for curtains. This one I think is for a curtain as well, but there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about that because I'm using it like this. And I think you should be allowed to use things wrong. You should not have to follow the rules of what an item's actually for. You should just be able to do as you please with it. And I feel like my light switch needs some decoration. It makes me so happy to see that I'm using up my paint, and I think craft supplies are to be used. Like, please use your craft supplies. Don't let them sit and get destroyed because they will ruin eventually. And then you'll be really sad and wished you had just used them. Like, don't wait for the perfect moment. Just start making stuff. And if it sucks, like, who the hell cares? You've made something, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. Like, this doesn't look perfect at all. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know some people say they're a perfectionist. I am not. I do a lot of makeshift things. Obviously, I want things to work and be functional, but I really do love the joy of experimenting. So for me, perfectionism gets in the way of that because my whole life I want to experiment and just make and see what works. And you can't do that if you're so busy trying to come up with the perfect solution for everything all the time. Like, even with my raised beds, if I waited for the perfect raised bed at the perfect height, or waited to, make things exactly the way and find the perfect sticks, because I'm literally making some out of sticks. I've been working and experimenting on raised beds for a while. I used rain barrels, like half cut out rain barrels. If I didn't experiment on all of this stuff, like, we wouldn't have nearly the knowledge we do today. And I think when you stop looking at everything as its final form, that's also the other beauty of recycling and why I genuinely find upcycling and recycling to be almost like akin to a spiritual experience, is because through the death of one thing, it is giving birth to another. And when I saw that some people shared that viewpoint in the book, I was like, oh my God, it's like somebody was reading the thoughts directly out of my mind. And granted, this book was from the 90s and it was still relevant as ever. It was heavily touching on the environmental impacts of not upcycling everything you possibly can. And I know that there's a lot less of a stigma around it now, thankfully. And especially like thrifting, like there's a lot less of a stigma. And I don't know that if the economy gets better, if that stigma will come up again. I don't know if people are gonna re-get that elitist mindset and think that everything needs to be new. But I really hope that DIY and upcycling and everything is here to stay. I know it's still a smaller section of the online world and the in-person world, but I hope it gets bigger. And I do think there's room for everyone in it. I'm definitely tired of people being like, no, you can't, because then it's gonna become too hard for everyone else. No, everyone should be. It is honestly, almost a responsibility at this point, I think, to not generate more waste. And I see people do that in like the most wonderful of ways. Like people who unravel sweaters to make new things from the yarn. It's just, I've seen so many wonderful examples of people being creative, and especially in a time where everything's AI, like we need creativity. We need people to be creative. Okay, so I think that looks good. And I know there is so So I was gonna go out. I still am in like 20 minutes. I got rid of my chair because I'm working on a secret project down here. But I decided to add some pearlescent stuff to this. Look how cool this looks. I think you guys remember what this looked like before. I do know I like how it looks right now, but I feel like maybe I could put a little bit of gold, but honestly, I might not. And then this is just a pearlescent paint. So I'm building them over here because I'm afraid of the bugs. After building 3 of these so far, I've learned these are pretty easy to put together. They literally just have these little things and you undo them. If they're used, they're not going to be put together like this. Even the last one that I got in box was not like this, but it was a completely different set. I drove all the way to Charlotte for that. Alright, so I have one part of it done. This is how wide it's going to be. And all I have to do is put this one on and then connect the longer pieces. It doesn't take that much to build these. And it's finally starting to cool down, which means the bugs are not going to be as active, which I'm very excited about. But my goal is to get these done before 5, and I have 3 of them to do. I don't have any of the land flattened that I want because I don't know if it's on an anthill. We used to have ant problems in that spot, but I put a bunch of diatomaceous earth on it last year, and from the looks of it last night, it looked like it was done and gone. So I'm hoping that's the truth. I'm definitely gonna get a second pair of eyes on it later, aka my partner. All right, so it comes with like 5 long screws, but I have 2 of these to build and then a round one, and that's one of the ones I drove to Spartanburg for. Although I don't live there, I really do enjoy driving to South Carolina, and by South Carolina, I mean Greenville and Spartanburg. All right. So this is the very first part. I'm gonna finish putting these together, and then hopefully we can put them where they belong and do the round one. I still don't know where I'm gonna put the round one because I'm on a huge hill and there really isn't a place that's flat. So after hours and many breaks, I finally built one. I will build the rest tomorrow, but I am completely exhausted for today. So thanks for spending the day with me, and it was really fun. Hopefully I'll see you soon, but until then, I hope that you have a day just as beautiful as you are, and I love you so very much. All right, bye. Nice.